Hello and welcome to Cooking Classic. I'm Kathy Coslett and I am with Executive Chef Dave Pembleton.
Hello.
Hi there. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Executive Chef Dave Pembleton is here to talk with us about lobster today. He has a really great menu in store. Lobsters. I hear cold water, I hear fresh water, I hear warm water. What's the best?
Well, to me, the best is the whole lobster. That comes from North America. It's Maine. Okay, that's the best for me. But in our communities around here, I think everybody's used to the lobster tail. Okay, and the lobster tail has two real varieties: cold water or warm water. Cold water coming from colder waters, warm water coming from warmer waters. And they say that cold waters have a better feel. They're a little bit sweeter, but they're also double the price. So I think for the most part around here, we're using warm water lobster tails, and you can buy them any size you want. They usually come from Brazil, the coast of Florida, the Caribbean. Cold water ones maybe come from Brazil, New Zealand, Australia. Africa. Right.
I just lost my train of thought for a second, but I know. I was going to ask you, so what should one expect to pay for a lobster tail?
Well, as a dinner, or if you're going out to the grocery store to buy it?
No, I think if you're going out to the grocery store to buy it.
I think you should expect to pay $20 a pound.
Okay.
Right in that area, $19 to $20 a pound.
And what's the average size of a lobster tail?
About 8 ounces. That's the usual average size.
Okay. Now, lobster fra diavolo is first on our menu. What other fishes or shellfish are in that dish?
Well, you can use whatever you want to, but I'm using some clams, some little neck clams, and I like the little neck ones because they're the sweetest. And we're using some sea scallops, which are the larger scallops. We're using some jumbo shrimp and the lobster tail itself, and we're going to saute that up in a nice spicy sauce, depending on how spicy you like it. And we're going to serve it over pasta today.
What's a scallop?
A scallop is actually a mollusk. It looks, actually when it grows, the shell kind of resembles a clam. A little bit larger, but you know the ones that you find on the beach that have those ridged and they're really beautiful? That is a scallop shell. But you don't see them in the shell because they die very quickly. So they're harvested at sea, and then you can buy them in pounds, 2-pound or 5-pound units.
Delicious. I can't wait. This is one of my favorite dishes, actually. So I'm looking forward to this. Not that I'm never looking forward to what you're doing, but. And the other item on the menu, on Chef Dave's menu tonight, is surf and turf, correct?
Right. And one thing I want to mention, these are two dishes that you might want to have for a special occasion. They're a little bit more, pricey. So if you want to cook something for someone's birthday or for your significant other, around the holidays, Valentine's Day, and that's what these two dishes are kind of geared for.
All right, so we have lots of cooking to do. We will be back in just a moment.
Hello, my name is Colton. I'm a culinary student at Luzerne County Community College with your culinary tip of the day. The avocado is used in homes and restaurants every single day, but a lot of people don't really know how to properly cut it and actually use it as a garnish. So today, that's what I'm going to show you. Now what we're going to do, we're going to cut around the avocado, but we're not going to cut it in half. Be very gentle because you don't want to cut off the middle piece, which is this core that we're trying to remove. Now we're just going to twist it right off like so, and here's that middle piece I was telling you about. What you're going to do, you're just going to take your kitchen knife and give it a little tap and then kind of twist it right off. Just leave it right there. And now all we're going to do, we're probably just cut it right in half. Just be nice and gentle with it. Don't get a little too crazy. Now we're going to try our best to get as much of the avocado off by guiding our kitchen knife all the way around the inside of it. We don't need that. And now simply cut like so. It's a little bit messy, but it's fine. All tastes the same. And then once we get it all nice, and once you finish, you can get your salad out. Then get your avocado garnish and simply slide it right on there. And then you can enjoy your nice salad or add some kind of dressing. And that was your culinary tip of the day. Bon appetit.
Welcome back. This is the Kitchen of Cooking Classic. I'm Kathy Coslett, and this is Executive Chef Dave Pembleton. He's making one of my favorites today, lobster fra diavolo, or seafood fra diavolo. So the first thing he's going to do is get a little oil in that pan and saute some of his ingredients here.
Okay, we're going to start. We have an 8-ounce lobster tail, which I've split in half, so it cooks a little quicker. Okay, we have some little neck clams. We have some sea scallops that I've cut in two because they were so large, and we have some jumbo shrimp.
Right, now other than where they're from, sea scallop, bay scallop, what's the difference? Is there a little bit of a different taste, the size?
Yeah, I think one's larger and takes a little bit longer to cook, and not my favorite taste. My favorite taste are the bay scallops, but you have to really watch how you cook them. If you overcook them even a little bit, they get very rubbery.
Okay.
So I think the bay scallops are a little sweeter, but the sea scallop I think are the gold standard, you know, in our communities anyway. Okay. So we're going to put the thing that takes the longest to cook in here first. Okay.
Now I'm surprised
that's the
that
lobster.
takes the longest. Well, I guess I'm not. It's the largest out of all the items here, right?
And sometimes you get a little bit of moisture in the pan. It wants to jump out at you a little bit. Okay, so you have to be a little bit careful. Okay, so we're gonna sear that flesh side down, just to get some caramelization. The caramelization will add to the taste.
So about how long will that be in there? Just a couple minutes,
Well, I'm
really?
gonna leave this in here the whole entire time because it's gonna take a while to cook. Now some of the other things I'm gonna put in there and I'm gonna pull them out because I don't want to overcook them. Okay. So next I'm going to put in the sea scallops. Okay. And sea scallops, I like dry packed sea scallops, which they're not packed in water. They're not able to they make funny noises. Okay. And they're not able, you know, they don't suck up all that water that, you know, from being packed in water, and they cook nicer. Okay. And they cook relatively quickly.
Yeah, they do. That
So
looks
you can
nice.
see-
I can see what you're talking about
Right.
even
See the
already.
color? You see the color, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay. Looking for that color.
The same with the lobster, that little bit of
Yeah, a
caramelization.
little bit of caramelization, you know, adds flavor. Okay.
Okay, so you just added a little bit
I
more
did.
oil.
I saw that the pan was getting a little dry, so you know, from time to time we may have to do that. Now we're going to put our shrimp in.
And you have about 6 shrimp and 6 scallops?
I have 4 shrimp, and I had 4 scallops that I cut in half.
So much for my math ability.
But it really doesn't matter.
No.
Okay.
It depends on what you like most,
Right.
correct?
Right.
So-
And I think that this would feed one very hungry person, or it could easily feed 2 people.
Okay.
So you can see the seafood is starting to cook. And probably the biggest mistake, Kathy, when people are cooking seafood is they overcook it. Okay? It's the biggest mistake, and they let it swim in butter, which it's really, really not that
Yeah,
healthy.
I don't even
okay?
use butter on my lobster. I don't like that. I like the flavor of the lobster.
Right,
I don't need the butter.
right.
So now you haven't turned those at all, the lobsters. Are you going to?
I'm going to turn them probably right now. Okay?
Ah,
Now,
right on cue.
Now that was very good timing. Okay? So now we have some color. We have some color on those
Yeah, looks
lobsters,
pretty.
and things are starting to happen. Okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to take the scallops and the shrimp out because they're just about done, and I don't want to overcook them by the time the rest of these things here are done. Okay? So I'm going to take these out like so. And you notice I have a lid here. When we put these clams in, sometimes clams, when they open, they kind of release their juices, and sometimes that creates a lot of steam and those types of things. We're going to try to trap that. Okay.
Okay.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our a little bit of garlic in there. Okay, for flavor. I just like garlic till it's lightly toasted. Okay. I don't like it overcooked.
I was going to say that's another thing. When you do that, you're finished, aren't you? Start all over with
I
the
think
garlic.
so. Yeah. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put our clams in. We're going to let our clams start.
I'm interested in seeing this. I never.
And we're
really
going to
did
deglaze this
before.
with white wine.
Oh, that's
Now
fabulous.
sometimes when you put the white wine in, sometimes you'll find that that it'll want to flare up at you. Okay. So you want to be careful. Okay. Now I'm going to put this flame up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to put a little bit of parsley. I'm going to add parsley a couple of times during the dish. Okay. Some's for flavor and some's for garnish.
Yeah, it really looks good and it smells good. I love garlic. I don't know about you, but
And garlic and
The more
parsley
garlic, the
together
better.
are
There we go.
just like one beautiful flavor. Now, I'm going to use this for the spice. Okay.
Is that?
Fra Diavolo is supposed to be hot. These are red chili flakes, and on pizza they're not very hot. But when you put them in liquid,
Yeah.
they get extremely hot. So you have
Why
to be
is that?
careful.
Does it open it up and
Yeah,
allow it
you
to
know, just
release
it allows
its flavor?
allows it to release all those flavors, and they can be, you know, they can be on the hot side. Now I'm going to put a little
All
bit of
right, here
marinara
we
sauce,
go.
a little bit of marinara sauce,
This is heaven.
like so. Okay.
Oh,
And I
that
don't know if-
smells exquisite.
Too bad you can't smell this at home.
No, this is
okay?
amazing. You
But,
really have to try this.
This is good. Now I'm going to put a few of these chili flakes, depending on how.
I know.
I don't like too many. I don't like it blazing hot, so I have to wipe my forehead
General
off.
alarm Fra Diavolo.
I don't like it that way. Although some people do. You know,
yeah.
and if they want it that way, you can kind of adjust it to how they like it. For this dish, I like to use linguine. Okay. I don't know why. If you don't have linguine, some type of ribbon pasta works the best. Okay. And I have cooked this morning. Okay. And I cooked it al dente. That means that it's still pretty firm. Okay. I don't like mushy pasta at all. Okay. And I do something a little different than some chefs might not do. I color the pasta. Okay. So I'm going to take some of this sauce that I
mom
use
used
for
to
my
do
Fra
that.
Diavolo, and the reason I do this is I think it looks pretty.
Yeah,
okay?
it does.
I think it looks nice, and I think it helps the sauce stick to the noodles a little bit better. And then I don't know if you've ever gone to a restaurant and having a pasta dish and the bottom is filled with water. This helps avoid that. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of my parsley
Okay.
in here, like so, just for color. And if you wanted to, you could put some dry cheese in there, like a pecorino romano or a Parmesan cheese, something like that. Okay, so I think our pasta's all ready to go.
What's the difference in the flavor of the Parmesan and the pecorino romano?
I think the Parmesan is a little saltier
Yeah.
and a little milder, and I think that the sheep's milk pecorino romano is it's a little tangier.
Yeah,
It's a
I
little
like
bit
that.
better of a tang. And
Yeah,
I like
too.
that one better. Okay, so if I had to choose,
Oh boy.
I would
This is incredible.
I would choose that. Okay. Now you can see our clams
yeah,
are
they're
starting to
starting to
open up.
open.
So that's a good indication that we should put the rest of our seafood back in. And I just like to make sure that all of the seafood is coated nicely. Okay.
Now this
With our
doesn't.
sauce.
This is going to sound funny the way I'm going to say this, but this doesn't have to be swimming in sauce at this point. A couple ladles of sauce.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
that's it.
I prefer that it's not swimming in sauce.
Okay.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because this marinara sauce that I'm using, it's a thinner marinara sauce.
I noticed that. I don't see chunk tomatoes or anything in there.
Yeah, because you know the reason that I like to use a thinner sauce is that when you cook with it, when you cook with the sauce, it gets it evaporates and it gets really heavy and matted, and that's why I like to, you know, I don't want to use the term watered down, but that's exactly what it is. It's a thinner, watered down version of marinara sauce because as it cooks, what's going to happen? What's going to happen as it cooks?
Oh, I didn't know that was a question. I was salivating over what's in the pan. What's going to happen? It's going to cook down.
Right, and
So it's going to get a little bit thicker.
Right, it's going to get thicker, and it's going to get
Flavor those.
It's going to get
Fish.
flavored inside and all that kind of stuff. We're going to put our lid back on the top.
Get
we're
those
gonna,
clams to open,
yeah,
right?
we're going to bring that up to temperature. Sometimes clams, they're a gnarly bunch, and sometimes they don't like to open. Okay, so we're going
That's
to
a
force
good
them
word.
to get open.
A gnarly bunch of clams. I like that word.
Well, they're very hardy. They're very hardy, and they last a long time.
Do they really?
Yeah, you know, it's one of those seafood items that if you buy them in the bag and you buy them fresh by the bushel, they can easily last a week in the
Get
cooler.
out. Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
very few will do that.
And what is the rule with that? If you cook them like this, right, how long until they don't open that you really shouldn't eat them? Or
Well, that's a good question. If they're of good quality, and the way I check, I bang them together. Okay.
so what
And
do
if
you?
they sound like two stones banging together, that tells me that they're probably good.
Oh, all
okay?
right. How about that?
But I've had, you know, I've been in this situation if, you know, even though they bang together like that and they didn't quite open in the pan, that they were dead inside. So you
Okay.
have to be very careful.
So that's what it is. The fish is actually dead inside the shell. That's why they don't open.
Well, sometimes, but most of the time, you know, if they don't open, it's the clam still being alive and still not wanting to let go. And when it's, you know, finally that, you know, at that state, then they should open up nicely. Okay.
Oh, there we go. We
So
have a
now-
couple more open.
Now we got just about
All right, now
all
I
of
don't mean to
them
get
open.
really technical, but if we go back to that clam thing again, these are all wide open. And every once in a while, you'll get some that just have
Like
a
this one.
tiny little slit of an opening. Is that okay?
Yeah,
As
well,
long as it opens a little, or?
I check.
All right, so,
And if it's not opening at all, I'm going to put it on the
Yeah,
side.
so this one
okay?
we're
So
here.
this one
here you go.
we're going to put on the side. Okay?
Darn
Because
you,
you want to be
gnarly.
safe than sorry, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, now I think that we're ready to plate up here, Kathy.
this looks
so
incredible.
If you could hand me a dish.
There you go.
Now what I do is I want to see all the seafood items. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So do
I'm gonna plate the pasta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm gonna put that right in the center of the plate.
Is it all right to cook the pasta ahead of time?
It depends
To
how
do
busy
what
you're going to be.
Yeah, to do what you did. I don't
Yeah.
mean like 8 hours ahead of time, but you can do it.
I
Because
think-
the
I think
sauce
you
is
can.
going to heat that up too, right?
I think
And the
it's better
fish.
if you don't, but like it's like this. If you're out in the kitchen or you've got a very busy, you know, and this is a very complicated dish,
Yeah.
it's one less thing you have to worry about at home. So I would have it cooked as long as
Okay.
it's cooked al dente.
Okay.
Okay, if that makes any sense. Okay, and now we're going to put our seafood here so you can kind of see everything.
You know, there's a lot of ingredients in this, but it really, if your sauce is made ahead of time and everything, it's not so bad, is it?
It's really not that hard.
It's pretty quick too.
Yeah, it didn't take us long to do this dish
No.
at all, and like you could have the shrimp peeled and deveined the day before. You can have the clams scrubbed before.
This is
You can have the sauce
great.
made, and I just place these. You know, however you want to start with a very nice large dish, like so. Place the clams around so it looks beautiful. Okay, let's
does
put that
look
one right up
beautiful.
there, like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to shake this sauce, and I'm just going to try to
Oh my gosh.
get
you
a
should
little
see-
bit of this
This
sauce
is great.
all the way around. Gonna
I
put-
knew you were going to parsley that. I remember
you got to
that.
have a little bit of green, okay? And if you wanted to, you could finish this with a little pecorino romano cheese or something on the top, okay?
And a glass of wine.
In a glass
How about
of,
that?
oh yeah, yes, absolutely. And with that dish, I would probably drink a Shiraz or a
Okay.
Merlot or something on that line.
That
okay?
is amazing.
So that's lobster fra diavolo. And how long did it take? 15 minutes
Yeah.
from start
No,
to
I
finish?
don't even think 15 minutes, to tell you the truth.
Right.
That's terrific. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And we will be back right after this. Don't forget, Surf and Turf is up next.
Are you looking for a college that's right for you? Luzerne County Community College has more than 100 majors to choose from, convenient class times, and many online courses. Transfer your degree and continue your education at a four-year college. Work with modern equipment found in the professional world, all at the area's lowest tuition. Make it happen at Luzerne County Community College.
We are back, and this is Cooking Classic. We are on to part 2 of this feast in the Cooking Classic kitchen. And we're about to move on to Surf and Turf. Lobster is up first.
And this is a very, very simple recipe. All it requires is
A lobster tail.
lobster tail. I like to use filet mignon steak or beef tenderloin, but if you don't have that, you could use a New York strip, you could use a Delmonico, but this makes for a nicer plate presentation. Okay, so what you want to do is you have to have a big sharp knife for this, okay? And I stick the knife into the end of the lobster tail, and then I kind of just go through the lobster
All
tail
the
like
way
so.
through?
Almost all the way through, okay? Almost
Oh,
all
I
the way
see.
through. And then what I do is I like to take it almost all the way out of the shell,
Okay.
and then I close the shell back up, okay? Then I put it back on the
How
top,
about that?
and then I fan the tail out.
Oh, you're pretty snazzy
Yeah,
there.
and then if you do that and people say ooh ah, then you charge them more money, okay? So we're going to put a little bit of water in the bottom of the thing to help it steam and so it doesn't stick, okay?
I'm not going to ooh ah. I don't
Okay.
want you charging me any more money.
There we go.
There we go. That looks beautiful.
Okay, and then on this, Kathy, what I like to do is I like to put a little bit of drawn butter, okay?
Tell me about drawn butter. You know, I
Yeah,
was
some
gonna
chefs
ask
might
that.
say, oh, no, you have to use clarified butter, but I like drawn butter. Drawn butter is just melted butter with all the milk solids in there. I think it has a lot better flavor.
So if you were going to clarify that, you'd skim all of that off the top.
Yeah, if I was going to clarify that, I'd melt it down. I'd take another clean pot and I'd skim all those milk solids off the top, and then I would gently ladle that yellow liquid into a clean pot until all the milk solids were gone.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of paprika on the
Paprika.
top just to give it some color.
Doesn't matter what kind. Paprika, it's kind
I
of
like-
crazy now. You know, you have all different kinds to choose from, where
Right.
before it was just paprika.
I don't think it really matters. I would probably just use Spanish paprika. I think it would be fine. All I'm looking for is color. I'm not looking for
Okay.
flavor at this point in time.
Okay.
And what some people do also, Kathy, is some people squirt lemon on the top. Some people put a little bit of white wine on the top and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to serve a lemon
too.
with this at the table on the plate. So I don't think I really need to do anything about that. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have you take this over. If you can put that into the oven. How are we going to tell when that lobster's done? It's going to be firm to the touch. It's going to start to turn brown. And then I always look inside the flesh. I always take a little fork or a little knife and I break it up a little bit because it's an expensive meal.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to get a fleshy lobster tail. And I look down inside and you should see an ivory white texture all the way through.
Okay.
Okay? All right, next, the steak.
Yeah, that
Okay?
looks like a good steak too, because I remember in the one of our other shows when we talked about pieces of meat, for a fillet to have that marbling is really
Right.
is a good thing.
So an 8-ounce tail with a 6-ounce steak is really, really good. You can see there's a lot of intermuscular marbling in this steak,
Yeah.
and I chose it for that reason because it'll give us some more flavor.
Right.
Okay? So all we're going to do is I want to cook this to medium rare. So I've already preheated my grill, and if you can put your hand close to that,
Yeah, it's
it's
We're
hot
ready.
enough. It's hot enough, okay? And what I like to do as a chef, I like to make those really nice, fancy crosshatch marks. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to seat the steak first. I'm going to push it down, and I'm really not going to bother it, okay? I'm really not going to bother
you're
that
not
steak
going to
right
keep
now.
turning
I'm
it.
not. You should only really have to turn it once. I'm going to turn it a quarter a turn just to get those cross marks that I want, and then I'm going to turn it over, so I'm only really turning it once.
Okay.
And then a medium rare feel, if you're feeling with your fingers, if you take your hand like so, if you feel this part of your hand, that should be what it should feel like.
Oh, so that kind of little.
It's a little
Bounce back.
Yeah, you're getting some bounce back. It's kind of soft. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if you were going to cook it to a little bit more medium, you would open your hand like that and see how that changes.
Oh, all right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's how I teach the students in school.
Okay.
Although it still does take a long time to learn how to do that. So if you wanted to be perfect, you could use a thermometer if you wanted to.
All right.
And at medium rare, we probably want to pull this at about 135. Okay? Now that it's seated, okay, we're going to turn it a quarter of a turn.
And you did spray the grill
I
when
did.
it was hot. Correct. That's important, right?
I sprayed the grill. Some people they leave the steak in an oil until they put it on the grill. But then when they put it on the grill, all that oil drips down into the grill,
Oh.
and before you know it, you have a fire.
Fire.
Okay. So I don't like to do that. I like to, rub the steak down with a little bit of oil, season it well,
Okay.
and I like to spray the grill down. At least the first part. When I'm first going to start cooking on the grill for the night, either I'll
Right.
rub it down with oil or I'll spray it with a spray.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So we're just going to cook this a little longer, just until it's seated on the other side, until we get those nice cross hatch marks. Okay. So we're going to turn this over now, and we should get those nice hatch marks
Yeah,
that
that
we were
looks
looking
beautiful.
for. That's what we're looking for, and then we just have to wait for our lobster to get done.
Okay.
And then we can, as soon as our steak and our lobster is done, we can plate it up.
All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you're going to have your surf and turf meal. We'll see you in a second.
Looking for a college that's right for you? Luzerne County Community College has more than 100 majors to choose from, convenient class times, and many online courses. Transfer your degree and continue your education at a four-year college. Work with modern equipment found in the professional world, all at the area's lowest tuition. Make it happen at Luzerne County Community College.
Thanks for joining us. We're back and we are going to get that lobster out of the oven and get this surf and turf all together.
Okay, we have to go over to
Okay.
the oven.
Sure.
We got to see if the lobster's done.
All right, now.
It's looking nice and white, ivory white.
Yeah, that looks beautiful.
It's browning up. I'm feeling it on there. It's nice and firm. So I think we're about ready. Okay.
Yeah, that looks great. Can I help you in any way here?
Well, I think I should do this, and then like so. I
Okay.
think that's the center of the plate item.
Oh,
so that's the
gorgeous.
kind of.
Look at the tail.
Yeah, you see if you can.
Yeah, that looks
It
amazing.
looks really good. Now we're going to take our, if you want to, you can take the tongs and you can put the fillet right there.
Wait a minute. And this is incredible too.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's very, very nice. And then we'll take our, we have a baked potato to go with this, like so. Okay.
That little push.
And
And I'll
we'll put
clean
our-
the plate off before you ask me. How's
Right.
that?
And we'll put our broccoli
Oh, that
kind
looks
of jumping out of the
beautiful.
center there. And then the only other thing that I serve with my surf and turf.
I
There's
hate
some
to
nice-
see you cover up that tail.
Oh, I know,
though.
but
That's,
there's only so much room. And then right on the top here, okay,
There's a lemon.
we're going to put our lemon twist right over there, okay? And then we have a little piece of parsley here.
Chef Dave, this looks incredible.
We're going to put our parsley right next to that lemon.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
I think it looks nice like that, okay? And then, so that's our
Now that's
surf
a
and
meal,
turf.
isn't it?
That's our surf and turf.
There you go.
Prepared here at the Culinary Institute.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us again on
You're
Cooking
welcome.
Classic. You're welcome. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.